All good. How are you?
Oh,
Right.
just
Yeah.
It's the use for me. I like it. Talk to us about football in Ireland.
Yeah, it's Gaelic football in Ireland. It's a religion, really. It's what we grew up playing. It's been a part of my life since 6 years of age. My father played it. And I come from a little town, little village called Scotstown in a county called Monaghan, and it's just been a massive part of my life. And playing it to earlier this year, I've been playing it, and I've been lucky enough to come out here and showcase the skills that I have as a kicker. I've been known as a kicker, free taker back in Ireland in Gaelic football. I'm a goalkeeper, so a lot of my time is kicking a ball. So it's transferred nicely over into this sport. But I know there's definitely improvements to be made. But I feel like I do belong in places like this.
What's the reception been at home to you being here? I know it's crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to probably keep it a wee bit hush-hush when I was coming out. I just wanted to focus solely on the job. And once word got out, reception's been really good. I've got a lot of messages. Haven't got back to these people yet. So my full focus has been to really work hard these last 2 days. And I suppose I'll get back to them people in my free time this evening. But it's been a really, really good couple of days. Really enjoyed the atmosphere around the place. Everybody's just so motivated to work hard, and it's really nice to be around that. I'm around that 24/7 at home with Gaelic football, with footballers, and to come into a similar environment. It's just what you dream of with the facilities here that we have. It's unbelievable.
You are active still in Ireland in Gaelic football, correct?
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could do both, or is it that you have to decide and give that up to come here?
Yeah, I suppose when I was in Ireland, I was still practicing kicking with my kicking coach tag leader, and I suppose I was also playing Gaelic football as well, because I was unsure whether an opportunity like this was going to come. But once I got the word that it was going to happen, I solely focused on kicking the American football, and for me that's my focus now, is to try and earn a spot on this team. And if I can do that, a lot of hard work has went into that, so it'll have paid off. But for when I wasn't sure of where I was going to be in the last few weeks, I was playing my trade of Gaelic football again, and yeah, we're in the middle of that season at the minute, so it's awkward leaving at certain stages, but for what's at stake, it's worth it.
The International Pathway Program has really expanded this year. Obviously, it seems like there's more of an emphasis on specialists as well. How did you hear about the program? What drew your interest to it? And given that teams now have an exception, and you might not count against the roster, but you're still on the roster, how do you think that helps you, kind of bridge the gap coming to a new sport?
Yeah, I think I got introduced. Sorry, about the International Player Pathway last September. I got told that specialists have now been added into it. It wasn't always the case. So once I got word of that, I went for a kicking trial with tag leader and a couple of other Gaelic footballers back at home in Dublin, and felt the kick quite well. It was my very first time kicking the American football, and to see that there, and to know that there was a potential pathway into the NFL. Back in Ireland, we never thought there was a pathway. There wasn't a pathway, really, and to have this as an option, and as the weeks went on and the trainings went on, you felt it was getting more possible. How better you were at kicking it, and to get the invitation into the program was huge for me. And from February, we were in the IMG Academy, and we were working really hard on analysis, on the rules, on everything, and training 3 to 4 times a week. And kickers, they make and say you train the hardest, but it is quite hard mentally and physically on the body when you're every kick you have to treat it like it's your last kick. It's the kick that could potentially earn you a contract. So that was a really, really good 6 weeks, going to the combine with experience and all that, and then the pro day obviously in South Florida. So I felt it was been a whirlwind couple of months since last September. But I'm standing in front of you now at a rookie camp. That's all it is for me. But to even get here, if you had told me this last August, I probably would have laughed at you and said, you're crazy. But no, I'm standing here now, and hopefully I've done enough over the weekend to maybe get in their minds.
There's a saying in pro football: the more you can do, the better. Have you tried punting yet?
We worked on punting over since September, because we wanted to see which we were best at. Now, obviously, field goal kicking was where I was best at, but Gaelic football, we kick out of our hands a lot, and it's something that I can do if called upon. I think my strongest asset is kicking field goals and kickoffs, but I suppose if there's ever a case that you have to stand in and do a punt, I won't shy away from that either. So.
What's the difference in kicking American football versus the Gaelic football?
I suppose the difference really is the sweet spot. There's probably a bigger sweet spot on a Gaelic football than there is on an American football. I think we can. There's a wee bit more forgiveness on I suppose if you don't connect well with a Gaelic football, there's a wee bit more forgiveness that it goes to where you want to. But with an American football, I think it's once you hit your line, that's really it. But in terms of footwork, in terms of striking through the ball, a lot of it's the same to what I'm coming from Gaelic football. So I haven't had to change very much about my kicking style. Maybe more so less steps, and you're obviously moving to a target that's not even there yet with the football. So that was the biggest change. And obviously in Gaelic football, it's a very physical game, but we don't wear helmet or pads. So getting that change. But that's what the IMG Academy, that's what the Pathway program was for, was preparing us for this. And it's been a really, really good experience, and that's probably the few changes. Yeah.
What's your range?
Yeah, my range, I suppose, the longest I have hit was 66 in IMG. I suppose today, I think 56 was my furthest today. So, it probably changed, obviously, weather-wise and stuff. It was very windy in the IMG, but that's it. That won't be an excuse come the big days. So, 65 has been where it's at in terms of my longest, or 66, sorry, in terms of my longest, and one I was proud of that day. So.
What's intriguing for you trying to make this transition to the NFL kicking, especially these past 2 days when it's been on the field, or even a detail like the culture of this football versus your country?
Yeah, I suppose it's been such an eye opener. If you weren't already aware, like, we come from an amateur background in terms of the sport we play. We don't get paid. We don't. We all have full-time jobs, and we go to our training in the evening time. So to have your work done before lunchtime over here, having all your hard work done before lunchtime over here, and then meetings and everything. You're together a lot longer here than we are at home. We may only have maybe 2 to 3 hours together, maybe 3 times a week at home with Gaelic football. But in terms of the intensity that we put into it at home, like, we play in front of our biggest stadium, holds 85,000 people. It's not like a Sunday league soccer game. It's proper. It's like a professional sport, but in an amateur organisation, and I think that's helped acquitted me better over here. But in terms of the culture, the facilities here are just absolutely amazing. The food, like everything, the detail of all the coaches, the strength and conditioning, right through to the positional coaches. It's all been a surreal experience, and that's been the most intriguing. Just seeing how this sport works and how the training camps and all work. It's been unbelievable, an unbelievable experience.
What was your full-time job?
My full-time job, so I was in sales. I would have just been selling sportswear, teamwear, equipment for different sporting teams, multi-sports, and it was good. It's something like I've always enjoyed. I'm a very sporty person, and something I've always enjoyed. So obviously, when you're enjoying something, it's not really work. So for me, that was my job. That was my job, but hopefully, I'll have a new one in a couple of months.
2 things. Have they told you what the timeline would be for when you hear whether you're on the team versus tryout contract?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. Just the focus was kicking over the last 2 days and trying to impress. So I'm not sure the timelines or anything yet. So.
And then, did you know Rory Beggan is in town?
I heard that when I flew in. I heard that the Wells Fargo Championship is, I think it's 20 minutes down the road. So. Yeah, went for a walk. Yes, I didn't bump into any of them. So I know Shane Lowry's over here as well. So it's a good Irish contingent over. But I've been keeping a good eye on the golf, and Rory's doing quite well at the minute. So.
Are there? You coaches at IMG, were there kickers they had you kind of watch to kind of study technique, or just kind of learn from, I guess, over these past few months?
Yeah, we would have studied a lot of tape. Probably the two main kickers that stood out for us was Justin Tucker and Brandon Aubrey. I was more intrigued by Brandon because obviously he came from a different sport, similar to myself, kicking a similar sort of ball. So I studied him a lot, and it just sort of maybe put me more at ease making this transition. But in terms of, we would have had Pat Murray would have come down. Pat would have Monaghan connections from where I was. He would have been at Tampa Bay, and I suppose we would have had just conversations with Coach Carney. He would have been on to us as well, and yeah, we weren't just stuck with Tag the whole time. Like Tag has been brilliant for us, but it was nice to get them new voices at times, just to reassure you that you're doing the right thing. So that was a good experience in them 6 weeks.
You mentioned the facilities and the training over here. Does that get you pretty excited about what you could be here and how you could succeed now that you have such good training and all-around facilities?
Yeah, well, I think that's the benefits of these camps, is to introduce, especially international players, into what you can possibly get into. The motivation for your job is to be here every morning at 6:30 a.m. right through to 4 or 5 p.m. whatever time it has to be. This gives you the motivation to go and do that and want to do that. Like as I said, I've been taken aback by the facilities and just the whole culture of here the last 2 days. Like that's what you want. That's what you want 5 to 7 days a week for years, 3 or 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it has to be. That's the motivation for me, and that's what this last 2 days have been about. And I've just tried to leave no stone unturned to try and get what I've came here for.
Cassie, you have a question?
Oh yeah, I was just curious, how familiar were you with the NFL at all before the Panthers?
No, I'm not going to lie to you and say I was a massive fan. I was probably quite casual. I suppose there wasn't much exposure to the sport in Ireland in terms of even going to a local club to play it, but also in terms of TV, it's got a lot of exposure on Sky over the last few years. Sorry, so I've tuned in the Red Zone a good few times. But in terms of that, no, I wouldn't. I would say I've been quite casual in terms of, but I've kept a good eye on, like Dan Whelan at the Green Bay, obviously coming from an Irish background as well. So it's cool to see a lot more Irish coming into the sport.
All right, thanks, Rory.
Okay. Thanks, Millie.